I wasn't late, bitch. Don't you do that to me. I wasn't late. No, the demonetization. Well, no, no, no. Ah. Ah. I wasn't late. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to get slammed with content ID because you had me curse in the first few seconds because of my automatic response to the disrespect. No. No, bro. Bro. Man. I wasn't supposed to win anyways. Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord. So, afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed your boy, the Insane Game Freak here, and we're going to have a discussion. What's up, Boom? What's up, Aranza? What's up, Sad? What's up, Revolver? What's goody? How you doing? How you feeling? Hope you're feeling good. Good. So the premise of the title is obviously correlating with the news we just recently had. Just had me a cup of what you're drinking. Oh, the lemonade, the home style lemonade, baby. We about that, bro. So let's discuss. So the premise of the title is simply a crash course of why Toriyama was the GOAT. So look. It's weird to have this conversation for a number of reasons, mind you. And the reason why is because the news came out, and of course everybody's doing their tributes and their videos on how great of a man he was, and we've had some reckless conversation had about him and this, that, and the third. Because of course, when a person dies, you get either one or two types of things. They either get exposures for things that they did that people let slide and people forgot about or people didn't know about, and now they're being brought into light because now you know, or it's just a bunch of honor and respect. And let's be real here. There are very few mangaka that will get this level of honor and respect. I think the whole world, objectively, is honoring this man for the most part. Like I say, 98% of the world right now is leaving him his roses and just appreciating what he did for not only himself and for his culture, but for the rest of the world, the impact he had. And I could have easily got on here and done another one of those streams. And granted, there's no guarantee that the stream won't somewhat devolve into that anyway. But I wanted to create a discussion around it. Jesus Christ, Orion, sorry, Jesus Christ. But I wanted to make a discussion around it to have the conversation. Because this always happens when a person dies, especially someone who's like famous, right? About all these conversations. One of the most interesting conversations to me is how people feel about their own death and what they want when they die, right? And one of the things people always bring up is the legacy, whether the legacy is in a child, future generations, or it's in a body of work. And I guess I've always been curious is what turns your work of art, since we're using Toriyama as the basis here, what turns your work in art from being good or great into legendary? When was that line crossed? Like what was the line that transitioned Toriyama's Dragon Ball series from just good to great to amazing to legendary? Because if we're talking about storytelling and writing, most people objectively acknowledge he was probably mostly solid or consistently good up until probably the Buu Saga. I think the Buu Saga is the one arc that I think objectively people just go, I might like certain things about it, but it's definitely a drop off of what we were getting, right? And that was decades ago. But Dragon Ball was able to become a series that spanned not only its ball phase and its Z phase, he was a legend before Dragon Ball, though. Well, then my question is, what made him a legend then? If you're saying he was a legend before Dragon Ball, what made him a legend? Was it the Dr. Slump stuff? Was Dr. Slump what made him legendary? What dictates a legend? How in the context of manga artist or manga writer, mangaka, when did Toriyama become a legend for you? And what changed it? And I'm not talking about him being great. I'm not even talking about him being amazing. I'm talking about what made him legendary for you. Because to me, it's obviously Dragon Ball. To me, so he was a legend in Dr. Slump and Dragon Quest for you. For me, it's Dragon Ball. I think Dragon Ball, to me, is what makes him legendary. If I was just talking about Dr. Slump and Dragon Quest, I don't know if I'd call him legendary from those two things. But I think for most fans, when you talk about Toriyama, it's Dragon Ball. He had Dr. Slump in his Kickstarter. What? Lord. It's Dragon Ball. I think that's what I'm saying. It's Dragon Ball. Now, so Apex, you're saying that he was legendary just off of Dragon Ball. That's the other question is Dragon Ball, was Dragon Ball what made him legendary, or was it Z? Because as much, I'm not saying in terms of quality. We're not talking about in terms of quality writer. We already know that Dragon Ball is goated. Z is goated, okay? We know those are goated. But my question is, at what point did you know this writer stopped from being just a great writer to an amazing writer to a legendary writer? You can't just, if legendary status was so easy to obtain, you got to show where he started and how he hit and what created legendary. I don't feel like it's fair to separate them though, because without Z, Dragon Ball is legendary on its own right. Agreed, but I'm talking about when, for you, I guess, maybe I should make this a personal thing. For you as a fan, when did you view Toriyama as a legendary writer? Like, when did he go from being just like an artist you mess with to an artist, to a writer that you feel like changed the whole landscape? Obviously, we know the impact he's had. If you're a fan of any Shonen Jump manga, you have felt the impact of Toriyama, whether you've known it or not. One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Hitman Reborn. I don't know why that was the first thing that comes to mind. Even My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen. Because even though those series are more offshoots of the Big Three is an offshoot of Dragon Ball Z. And you can see that influence. It's sometimes it's really apparent and sometimes it's not apparent. I think it's really apparent with Luffy for Dragon Ball, because Luffy is essentially a variation on Goku. That's what I always look at him as. Naruto it's kind of obvious in terms of the color scheme and the thought process. Bleach is probably the most like, it's gonna take you a minute to figure it out. For me, it's all of Dragon Ball. He easily could have stopped there. I never really saw him as a legend, more as a person who got more involved in a lot of stuff like manga and games. But there has to be a reason why you would think, I don't think it's, I think you think Namek is where Toriyama cemented his legacy. I would probably agree. I think as good as Dragon Ball is, as good as like the Saiyan Saga is, I think what cemented him as a legacy icon was the Super Saiyan transformation. I think that arc, I think Namek is what cemented him. I think he would have gone down in history before that as a great writer. If he had stopped after Dragon Ball, I think he would have gone down as a great writer there, right? I think Z, and I think specifically the Namek arc, is what cemented him as a legend. Particularly because the things he's the most known for, the things that the fans parody and copy, it's not only his art style and the way he draws characters, but some of the most iconic moves in all of anime, right? He has like at least two things that everybody associates with him, which is the signature move, Kamehameha, and then obviously the Super Saiyan transformation. Or just the powering up system in general. Like that's a Toriyama classic almost. he was in his back 10 times with the Saw. No. I'm not saying the Saw arc I think is a better arc. I think for me, I enjoy a lot as well. But I'm not talking about the quality of the arcs as much as I'm talking about the legendary status. And when you become legendary, what is the how do you know how does a normal person pick up on his status like that? And to me, it's the influence. It's crazy to me because one of the things I think that really cements a person as a legendary individual is primarily due to his ability to inspire multiple generations. I won't even say an entire generation. I will say multiple generations. Even though in a lot of ways Goku's character is a very interesting one because I wouldn't even call him a traditional hero. But somehow you've inspired entire multiple generations of kids and adults actually to just never give up. There are plenty of guys who are in the gym or who are just more well fit and buff just because they looked at that Dragon Ball Z physique and was like, I gotta get me some of that. Been a fan of Dragon Ball Z until GT. Well, GT is considered something different anyway. And also because GT isn't canon. So I don't like to associate GT in the same way. But even then, like, because here's the kicker. I think he's always been. Yeah, exactly. Goku and Gohan inspired generations. They want the Namek Saga Goku build. Exactly. I mean, that saga became the blueprint for a lot of. I think actually Dragon Ball in general became the blueprint of a lot of what shonen manga wanted to do. And that's why there are so many shows that either parody Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball, or not only parody, but also try to emulate and accomplish the same level of greatness. Toriyama has impacted the anime landscape, and well, I don't even say it's just the anime landscape. I think it's the Tenkaichi Budokai tournaments in Dragon Ball that influenced so many shonen, even today for many shonen. Exactly, the tournament arcs. Luffy's a better version of Goku. Well, for me, he is. But I don't want to have the conversation turn into, because if we're gonna be objective here, I think I've openly already acknowledged that I prefer One Piece over Dragon Ball. Not saying that Dragon Ball isn't great. For me personally, I think One Piece is a better series. But that doesn't change that the impact that Dragon Ball has, One Piece will never be able to touch in the same way. Actually, hasn't touched in the same way. It's to me, which is kind of crazy when you think about how much One Piece has accomplished. It still can't do what it can't be. You can't beat. If I showed you the Kamehameha wave or Kamehameha, depending on how you pronounce it, let's say, unfortunately, Luffy's most iconic move is probably, move-wise, is probably just Gun Pistol, but it doesn't really hit the same way. If we're talking about the most iconic pose he gets, it's probably his Gear second pose. And then like Naruto's Rasengan, right? Everybody knows this move. I don't even have to do the full movement. I can just do this, and people know exactly what's about to happen, okay? Hell, if anyone remembers, when Naruto first uses the Rasengan, he does a hand motion kind of like this. When he's like challenging Tsunade, he does his hand. Oh, let's see if I got it. I think when he first tries to do the Rasengan against Tsunade, his hands do a variation of this, actually. I don't know if I can find the picture, but I'm going to try to. And then watch I be wrong, bro. Watch I be wrong. Yeah. Yeah, here it is. He does a Dragon Ball-esque hand pose. My mom is in her 60s. She came over yesterday to visit, and she recognized my Goku figures because Goku's just iconic. I mean, heck, I work in a school. Let me see. Is this it? Where is it? No, where is it? I just want to make sure I got the thing right. Yeah, here's the image. It may not have come out as clean as I wanted, but I think that's it. Put this right here. Put this right here. Yeah, gotcha. I mean, there's a reason why casuals see him as the Japanese Superman. Well, because in a way, that's what he is. What's up, Jay Spinner? But I always talk about the legendariness of a series. I always talk about the legendariness of a writer. And here, I guess here's a better question. Who else would you put in that same? Let's stick to anime and manga. Who else is in that same line of legendary status? I mean, we have games that are in that status. We have Sonic the Hedgehog is a legendary character. Mario is a legendary character. Pikachu is a legendary character, right? Now, if y'all disagree with any of those, y'all can correct me. But I would put those in the same, like, tier. Now, if we're sticking strictly to, like, manga and anime, I think you also gotta put. I don't know if I. Oh. Ooh. Well, Berserk was already considered legendary, but the difference is what makes him. If you're gonna put him there, are you implying that? Well, yeah, Miyazaki, absolutely. Miyazaki has changed the game. If you're gonna put Berserk in that same tier, though, what makes him legendary in a way that, because his legendary status is not the same as Toriyama's. Like if we're comparing, Toriyama is definitely more legendary than Kentaro Miura. Not that he's a better writer, but he's more legendary than him. And then the question goes, what makes him more legendary? Because in my opinion, Toriyama's more legendary than him. Oda, putting Oda there is a weird position for me. I think the problem Oda will always have is I think Oda's status is something, unfortunately, he's going to have to gain over time. I think that's the problem with Oda. Oda, I think, will eventually get it. But unfortunately, it's going to take time for him to get it. What's up, Donnie? Miura is legendary for his contributions to other series that inspired by the Berserk legacy. Stan Lee would be another person that you would consider a legend. But my question is, because I want a list. I want a list of at least 5 major writers you think. Let's stick with manga specifically. 5 major mangaka you think have earned legendary status. Because it can't just be Toriyama. Who else gets that? Who else gets that title? And then I want to know what the difference is between them. But even though they're all so legendary. What's my favorite Super Saiyan transformation? I've always liked 2 personally. I've always liked Super Saiyan 2 more. 3 doesn't mean a lot to me. Okay, so Astro Boy, I can see that. Tezuka. Also, hell, doesn't Tezuka have an award named after him? Araki. Okay. So Araki, Tezuka, Toriyama. I know Junji Ito. It's just hard for me to put in there for myself because I don't know as much about him. Kazuki Takahashi, since his work created the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise and became a conglomerate. I can give you that. It's always weird talking about Yu-Gi-Oh because Yu-Gi-Oh, although in its own right is a success and absolutely deserves the flowers it doesn't get sometimes, I feel like you also gotta put like people. I mean, obviously we're talking in the manga space, right? Toriyama just had his hands in so much stuff. Because even with the ones we give in comparison to now, Araki's definitely, I think, deserves legendary status. But what makes his status of legendary different than Toriyama's? Because it's obvious that Toriyama had a wider reach. Toriyama had a generational reach, right? Araki doesn't have that to the degree that Toriyama does. But if they're both considered legends, what makes them both legendary? That's the kind of the heart of the conversation. Yoshiyuki Tomino, Teresa Bucci, and the creator of Cobra. Besides Dragon Ball, his references and parody and other Shonen Jump IPs like Gintama and Bakuman, you can see Toriyama's influence in other anime and cartoons that references Dragon Ball in his works. Right. But is it just it's hard because I don't think there's a definite answer for it. But for each of these series, Naoko Takeuchi, that name sounds familiar, but I don't recognize that. Oh, Gundam. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I would give him that. Gundam, that absolutely. Gundam is legendary. Even if it's not legendary in the same way, it's absolutely legendary. Is this the Sailor Moon? Okay, gotcha. Sailor Moon. I figured I was thinking of something. Sailor Moon, of course. I think the thing is that once you define a genre, there's no way you can't be considered legendary. Well, obviously, I know about Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest, right? And even Blue Dragon, right? I wouldn't put Prince Attendance up there, honestly. Gundam is, yeah, absolutely. I don't Gundam, I mean, that's a whole genre, the mech genre. I don't even know who created Kamen Rider, but that would absolutely go in the same boat. Oh, that'd be like Satoshi Tajiri, I believe. I believe that's it. Satoshi Tajiri. Watch I be wrong. No, it was. It's Satoshi Tajiri. Yeah, I don't know about Prince of Tennis does not, I don't think, is justified in that line, okay? I think you got to put Pokemon in there. I think you got to put Yu-Gi-Oh in there. I think you got to put Gundam in there. Ooh. Actually, I think Rumio Takahashi is an interesting one. Would we consider her legendary? And the reason why I ask is because between her multiple series, they've all had their own successes. Is that enough to put her a legendary status? Like that one, I think is the most interesting one. Usure Yatsura, Rama 1.5, and Inuyasha. Even the creator of FMA, which I would argue is one of the best series of all time. I think there's another one. Was it? She did FMA and she also did Silver Spoon. What about some of the games in the category like Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy? I don't know if I put Kingdom Hearts in there. I could give you Final Fantasy. I'm not going to give you Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is close, but I don't think... Case support, FMA is iconic, but no one knows the author. Arakawa, that's what the name is. And I've seen that name. But that's why I question Rama 1.5 and Inuyasha's creator. I don't know her just off the immediately, right? Like that's the point of the conversation. Where is the line? What makes you iconic? What makes you legendary? Yeah, I was like, you don't put. Final Fantasy, absolutely. No one can ever take away Final Fantasy's flowers, but I'm not putting Kingdom Hearts in there. That's why I put Mario there. Sonic is a weird case because I think Sonic has absolutely earned it off of his legacy, but I also recognize that Sonic's quality is what makes it questionable, right? But Sonic absolutely has earned it off of his legacy. It's weird talking about Oda, Kishimoto, and Kubo. If in the actually, you know what? That's actually where I would put Sonic at. It's in that second tier. And between Kishimoto, Kubo, and Oda, it's weird because Kubo is unfortunately the lesser of those three. But the argument for first and second place is very hard and conflicting. Because a lot of people would acknowledge that One Piece is a better written series than Naruto. But to say Naruto didn't become iconic is offensive because Naruto absolutely became iconic. Well, no, it is video game, but yeah, still. But my point is like, I think the mangaka is legendary if they are remembered as the IPs you create, because the IPs will stay here longer than the creator and will be, it'll be, of course, be known. People know the brand that they are remembered as their IPs. Yeah, but I don't think everyone we've mentioned creators are just as known as their IP. Like when people talk about Astro Boy, not everybody knows the creator of Astro Boy. But is Astro Boy by himself iconic? Absolutely. Toriyama had decades to make Dragon Ball what it is. Remember Goku's speech to Frieza on Namek? Still gives me chills. Of course. How much impact does your work has done is what does, and I say how much do people remember it to? I know Shigeru isn't a mangaka, but oh no, yeah, Shigeru Miyamoto already has, to me, that's like losing the Toriyama of the gaming industry. Regardless of what people feel about like Nintendo or whatever, Miyamoto I think has the same status as Miyamoto has like the same status as Toriyama. Toriyama was famous before Dragon Ball. Yeah, but I'm not talking about his famous. I'm talking about him being like legendary. I might. No, Naruto and One Piece are a weird series for me because they both absolutely have earned flowers. They absolutely have turned into and gained the respect that warrants and has gurned. Oh, let me put my phone on the charger real quick. Jesus Christ. All right. Let me see. Who doesn't know the creator of Astro Boy? Yeah, but you like. There are a lot of people who don't know the creator of Astro Boy. People know Astro Boy. I don't think people know the creator of Astro Boy. That is not a common name. Death Note's a weird position. I'm gonna be real with you. Death Note will always be. See, I think there are tiers to it. There are tiers. Like to me, we're talking about iconic anime, right? We're talking about iconic anime, right? Iconic series. You talk about things like FMA, you talk about things like Dragon Ball, you talk about things like Sailor Moon. I think some are more iconic than the other. I wouldn't call Death Note underrated. Oh, Tezuka, yeah. Here's a question. Who is considered the Stan Lee of manga? The Stan Lee of manga? Ooh. Oh no, FMA absolutely deserves it. Yu Hakusho also is in there, but like, do you consider Togashi legendary though? That's why I think there's tiers. Like that's where I'm at with like Oda and Kishimoto. Oda and Kishimoto are so close to being iconic without actually being iconic. And it's hard to say that. It's really hard to say that for me. Because I think Oda absolutely deserves it. And regardless of people's issues with Naruto absolutely has earned its legacy, right? Do you consider Oda and Kishimoto legendary? That's the question. Like, what is... I kind of do, in a sense, think that he did inspire the idea of your main character being like a rebellious punk. You really wouldn't have Jujutsu Kaisen or Bleach. Oh, you're talking about Yu Yu Hakusho? Jay Spinner, chill out. Kishio is tier 3. Oda would be tier 2. What? Why, Revolver? Because I would argue in some cases, Naruto has a bigger reach than One Piece does. I would argue that Kishimoto not only has a bigger reach, but gained a bigger reach. So what makes Kishimoto tier 3 and Oda tier 2? What's the difference? Devilman's creator, some peeps didn't bring up because that man did what people call modern ecchi back in the day. Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, cute honey. But I want to know. I'm using Naruto and One Piece as the examples here because I think that will help create the tiers, right? Naruto has a bigger reach. Oda, for me, has the better series. No. I agree, but legendary status isn't just straight quality, okay? Or are we counting? I don't know. It's hard because I would argue. What? Maybe. Okay, so first thing I think maybe we need to lock down is we need criteria for legendary status. And then to see out of that criteria what, let's say, Kishimoto doesn't reach and what Oda doesn't reach. I think what gives Oda is his I guess since Kishimoto finished his main series, makes him more deserving, I guess. I feel like Naruto was exposed to the public more than One Piece worldwide. Agree? No, I agree. Naruto very much has a bigger overall reach. Regardless of the One Piece boom that's been going on, it's not this. It's different. I think characters' age is also a factor for fame and familiarity. Goku and Naruto started at 12. Luffy started at 17. Agreed. I don't think it's a huge thing, but I can see the correlation because starting at an older age, considering Shonen Jump is meant for young boys, I mean that Naruto was at the perfect age to be 100% relatable to its audience. I think Oda and Kishi need more time, even though both are legends. Art style also contributes how people view the series. Absolutely. But then that gets into a conversation. I think that's always going to be a hard conversation for me because your view on art is subjective. Like not everybody thinks an artist is goated, but that view jumps between like opinions. So that one will always be hard for me. I think I'm always going to struggle with that one. I don't. No, what did Prince say? Goku was 10 in the OG Dragon Ball. Again, I think it's hard to compare Toriyama simply because his range is outside of the Dragon Ball. Do you think that when One Piece ends, Oda will be considered legendary? Because legend implies a tell a story that is over. Dragon Ball is finished, and it continued in some ways, but the core ended in 1995. The first episode of Dragon Ball is magical to this day. What up, Cody? Ooh. Oh, yeah, Speed Racer definitely has to be put in that conversation. It's hard. To me, it's just hard to lock down. Because there are plenty of people you look at and go, oh, that man's run was legendary. What that man did for a particular genre was legendary, right? There are plenty of artists where you're like, that's absolutely the case. It's just, it's hard. I would say legendary status is when people take inspiration from other people's work. But we know almost every modern Shonen Jump manga takes inspiration. I mean, for God's sake, I think Black Clover is the only recent iteration of any modern shonen openly acknowledging they took inspiration from Berserk. Not saying other mangas didn't take inspiration from Berserk, but then the question is, does that series' legacy then add to Berserk's legacy? Like, does the success of Black Clover add to Berserk's legacy? Because if that's the case, then some of Toriyama's legendary status comes from the fact that he was able to inspire 3 mangaka with 3 popular series that are also acknowledged to this day. You inspired One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, right? All 3 of those mangaka. And all 3 of those series have a wide reach in their own rights, even if it's not at the same tier as him, right? Because the problem is that Toriyama's iconicness, I think as of now, cannot even be matched. Like, I'm just being real with you. Like, if we even, I always think about the moves. I always think about the iconic moves, because for me, that means a lot to me, right? As a Shonen Jump fan, a fan of modern shonen, and a fan of of shonen anime, being able to have a move that is so, wow, I must have got my shirt wet. Jesus Christ. Having having a move to me means a lot. Like, oh wait, the camera is tilted down like a motherfucker. Hold on. Let's see. The light shining in that weird angle is not helping me. But like for me, I think I'm only doing this because I do like the moves. Like to me, I think you've seen me do the Rasengan on stream. That has its own weight to it. Even Luffy's is always gonna be hard because at the end of the day, Luffy's core move is a fucking punch. It's just that. That's like his core, like pistol. Now, if we're gonna be technical, I honestly think Gear Second is probably his more iconic pose, which I believe is this. And then Bleach, ironically enough, I think takes inspiration from Inuyasha, where his most iconic move is just a move he does all the fucking time, which is like, gets the go, Tencho, like that's the iconicness. But then I got things like this. I got things like Gurren Lagann. I think Gurren Lagann absolutely is one of those series for me. But the question always becomes, what? Oh my God! What puts it at that status, man? It's a complicated process, and I honestly think the worst part of it is that a lot of this conversation, unfortunately, always happens after a man is dead. I think that's probably the biggest tragedy of it all. Not that I don't think Toriyama got his flowers. Toriyama was able to accomplish something at such a relatively younger age and then just kind of chill and still do other things. Like his artistry, his art style is unmatched. You look at him, you're like, that's the Dragon Ball art style. That man has iconically done the sharp angles on the face, the spiky hair. He literally designed an art style that nobody doesn't know looking at him like, oh, that's a Dragon Ball style. You're doing a Dragon Ball style right now. Sorry, that wasn't angled correctly and it was bugging the fuck out of me. I think when the news of his death came around, it was such a weird feeling because although I'm not as big of a Toriyama fan as many other people, it's kind of hard to be an anime fan and look at that death and go, I don't feel anything. It just because you know what his influence did for the culture. You know what his influence did for the people. You probably have friends or you yourself have been inspired by him immensely. It's a lot. It's a lot because it's not like he left and didn't leave us a series that will be immortalized forever. Yeah, even Hiramashima is doing the same thing that has Toriyama has been doing, manga and games, and he won't climb that same status. Yeah, there's something, and I think maybe what it comes down to is that each individual's journey will lead them into a different route. Because I think the time conversation for One Piece is a fair argument. When you look at what Toriyama was able to accomplish with a series that is vastly shorter than One Piece's, you then sit there and go, is it fair to put Oda on the same level as Toriyama when this man was able to do a series that is more iconic in less time? Now, do I think that Oda's series is better story-wise? Absolutely. But it doesn't change how accomplished Toriyama was able to be while not giving it his entire life for Dragon Ball. And even then, when you learn about the stories about how his editors, what pushed him to make certain decisions, some of the most iconic things and craziest things in Z, for example, were a result of just the editors being like, nah, bruh, you gotta change this, you gotta do this, you gotta just... Like, when you realize how much of that wasn't just Toriyama's straight work, and I think maybe that's something that we don't ever acknowledge, that some of the greatness that Toriyama had was cultivated by a millions of people. Like, a lot of people would say, my success isn't just my success. I had so many people around me that guided me into a direction. Because at the end of the day, Toriyama had to take inspiration from somebody else, right? Toriyama didn't come out the bed goated. That's not how that shit works. But like the trend, it's to be fair, One Piece has got screwed over in the States. So I say at least in their motherland, people consider One Piece as iconic as Dragon Ball. Oh no, I agree with that. I can agree with that. Teamwork made the dream work. But yeah, like I as much as we give Toriyama his flowers, I feel like the people around him in that time were also people that need to be... Most mangaka got inspiration from Tezuka, of course. So like, it's almost like a snowball effect, right? It starts here and it just rolls and it keeps going, and what you get at the end is greatness. And at the end of the day, it's the culture that ends up profiting the most out of it. But I feel sometimes it's a little unfair because we'll always give Toriyama his flowers, but there were plenty of people around Toriyama that allowed him to guide him in the direction to make the series that we view so dearly. Now, I'm not even talking about just Dragon Ball. The same thing with his other series, Dr. Slump. His artistry, his art style. It was all created through a combination of different efforts and inspirations and being guided in the correct way. And maybe I think it's the smaller people in his life that will never get that love and respect that help create some of the most iconic moments and things in history. Turner also went off the top of the dome. Man went by the seat of his pants. Agreed. Toriyama took a lot of inspiration from classic 16th century Chinese novel, Journey to the West, of course. So it's always interesting to me when we have these conversations because I don't think it's as much as Toriyama deserves his flowers. I think in some ways I argue it's a little bit of a shame that the people around him, the people who surrounded him and pushed him in the right direction, won't get their flowers because they weren't as well known. Because their accomplishment wasn't anything they did directly, but it's the influence they had on another individual to allow him to create the content that he made, right? It's always going to be a hard struggle for me because when I look at, like, and I don't know if how many of you guys have looked at your own lives. Would you guys want to die with that legendary status? Would you want to be the guy who was able to shape the generation with a work that you just thought was good. Because obviously, I don't think Toriyama got out the bed and said, "I'm about to change the whole goddamn world with this one." No one gets out the bed. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Most people don't get out the bed with the intention to be like, "I'm gonna change the world with this one." Usually, you just start writing and making some shit, and eventually, it gets to the point where it just turns into that, and you're like, "Oh damn, I didn't see this coming." And I don't know. I think the thought process is always interesting to me. I think the thought process is interesting to me. I think the people's reaction to it, like how everyone was inspired in different ways. Some people got their health together because of Dragon Ball. Some people became successful in business because of Dragon Ball. Some people went into war. Some people were able to go fight for their country because of Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has inspired people in various ways to the point that makes me go, everyone interpreted something different from Dragon Ball. The story took a life of its own. Alright, later, Gur. Is hard to answer because there are multiple factors. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. That's what makes the conversation so interesting. Because there's no like locked in idea of how you become a legend and in what way. Because most legends don't intentionally become legends. At least, I mean, it depends on the field we're talking about. But in terms of mangaka, you're just trying to make a good story and not get canceled. When you think about the daily life of a mangaka, which is to write in a course of a week, get 19 pages of a story out, and then already have another 19 pages ready for the next week, and do that day in and day out for like 52 weeks in a year, I believe, or maybe like 50 because I know they take some weeks off, like Golden Week and shit. Like when you think about that, and then you like, well, I already got to do all this crazy shit in the first place for it to then end with, I'm now the most popular mangaka in the world. When all you were doing is just trying to write a fucking story. That shit's crazy to me, bro. It is absolutely insane. And like I said, there are plenty of mangaka who absolutely went into the game like, I'm about to fuck this whole shit up. There are plenty of people who went into the game and was like, I'm about to change the motherfucking game with this one. That's what they did. And all things considered, oh shit. God damn. God damn. It's just it's crazy to me, bro. Especially nowadays where shonen writers have to do a lot more and have to have luck so they can make it. Of course, because at the end of the day, this shit's still a game. Explain, Six Lenses. Explain. Oh, absolutely. Dragon Ball Z games. But I would say the same thing about Naruto games. Naruto created its own genre of games just like Dragon Ball Z did. Fucked the whole game up. This was the only thing you played. Fuck you, Donnie. I see what you did there. I don't know. That's just where I'm at with it. I'm gonna make some weird shit. Jesus Christ, bro. I don't need to have a legacy behind. Well, I'm kind of like that too, Retro. Life is life. Whatever happens, happens. But like I said, I think some of the most iconic legends in the game didn't intend to be legends. Some of them probably did, but some of them just did the best they could. And as they continue to do the best they could, they essentially reached a level that made them beyond iconic. Do you think Michael Jackson grew up saying he wanted to be the best or inspire people? When he started, he said he wanted to be James Brown. Exactly. Toriyama popularized tournament arcs and time skips with Dragon Ball. I think if anything, he just showed that they could be a writing device. I won't even say he popularized it. He thought of an idea and said, this might be a cool thing to do. And people looked at that and went, oh shit, there are plenty of cool things you can do with this. The kicker is, in some ways, you would argue that Toriyama still isn't the best at some of those things. Like time skips. Or even tournament arcs. I think he will be the most well-known and iconic. And it's funny, because even when you have manga series that came out and were able to change the whole thing. I'm 60 inches of a... Jesus Christ. Relax, Revolver. Relax, bro. Relax. What was I going to say? I mean, Michael Jackson inspired by James Brown. And I forgot the other person. Yeah, he was the first to do it, too. Right. Sometimes it's just an idea. It's like, what if I made a tournament where I could introduce new characters? Because arguably, I think even people still say that Chunin Exams is one of the greatest tournament arcs in manga. The Chunin Exams has its problems, but Chunin Exams is like a masterclass of how much Kishimoto was able to get done in his series through that arc. And how well that arc came out. I think that arc doesn't get a lot of love because it's followed by better arcs, but it's still a great arc in its own right. And you're like, but Dragon Ball though. I wish Toriyama did a mech series. I'm not tripping on anything else Toriyama didn't do, okay? Toriyama gave us a lot. Toriyama gave us a lot in terms of different series, in terms of artistry, and laying his hands into things that created a whole nother foundation. Like, even if we're talking about gaming, Chrono Trigger is iconic in its entire right. And that man, and all I think he did was make art for it. From my understanding, it's just art. So they were Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is a legendary series, and that man was just drawing character designs. Shane Shippuden didn't have a tournament arc. And I'm not really tripping too much on that. I thought people were going to say many of people prefer the Dark Tournament to be the best shown art in... Well, that even then, still. Even then. Yeah, he was just the art. Yeah, exactly. What's up, J-Man? Same with Nomura for Final Fantasy. Of course. When Nomura kind of earned his own stripes, for better and for worse, that conversation leads into. But it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that even if we let's say we run with that, right? That people consider Dark Tournament to be the best shonen in history, right? Shonen tournament arc, right? That still goes to Toriyama, right? Because you're the reason why you even did tournament arcs in the first place. I think that's just another example of legendary status. I was able to make you make something amazing by just giving you an inspiration. And of course, that doesn't take away from Togashi's ability to write it, right? That doesn't take away from Togashi's ability to write an amazing art. Because regardless of even if he was inspired by Toriyama, the Dark Tournament is his arc, right? It's his arc. He wrote it, and he's the one who allowed it to become amazing, right? We don't take anything away from him. But even with that being said, it's almost like the better other people's variations of his ideas are, the more praise you give Toriyama. Especially when his shit was also still good. He still had good... Wow, 6 lenses. That's a wild statement. 6 lenses, that's the wild... You can't say that, bro. It wasn't good. Give me a letter grade. I need a letter grade for that statement. I need a letter grade for that statement, sir. You can't just say the Dark Tournament wasn't that good. I need a letter grade. Is it a B? Is it a C? Is it a D? Is it an A? I need a letter grade. Nomura is only a bad writer because he doesn't write about darkness. Man, I'm so tired of darkness with Nomura. We don't need to deal with this shit, bro. But yeah, you can't say something wild like that about fucking Dark Tournament, bro. That's a cover. That's war, sir. You know how many people die on the hill for Yu Hakusho? Wow. He gave the Dark Tournament arc a C. That's crazy to me, dog. What are you talking about? The Dark Tournament is a C? A C? Bro. Bro, that's wild. That's wild. Oh, don't bring up Mare in this house, Retro. You think I don't know about Mare? You think I don't? Where's my? Don't let me get my collection out. Don't make me do that. Don't make me do that. I'll get that Mare collection out so quick. Yeah. This man said fucking Dark Tournament was a C. I don't like the beginning of Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm not even like the biggest Yu Yu Hakusho fan. And I would never have the balls to be like, it's a C. That's crazy. Oh no, Mare has a great tournament arc. We ain't about to play that, bro. It's not an A. Whoa, that's wild. Well, no, absolutely. You stick to the manga for Mare. Absolutely. Let's see. I prefer Chapter Black personally. I'll say that. But I know I'm in the minority for that. Donnie's a savage. I don't think I had an S rank, but it definitely deserves. It's either B plus or A minus for me. I would have taken a B. Man said a C. You're saying it's average? That's a wild statement to say it's average. As well as making the anime seasonal rather than ongoing. Would Attack on Titan be legendary? Because it paved the way for a lot of people to have ongoing dark anime series. So here's the thing with Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan, I am not the person to grade Attack on Titan. I would not. I personally am not a big enough fan of Attack on Titan in general to grade Attack on Titan. So I don't feel comfortable grading Attack on Titan as someone who didn't get into it. So it's hard for me to have that statement. Retro, we're not about to have this conversation. We're not about to have this conversation about Food Wars. I'm just not going to do it with you. Berserk was their dark fantasy, so I would not give Attack on Titan that crown. Agreed. I can say that. Say something about JoJo. JoJo's such an interesting series. JoJo's an incredibly interesting series. JoJo, I think, in its own right, I hate to say part of this. JoJo is legendary. Unfortunately, I hate to say, the arc that makes it legendary is part 3. The reason why I hate to say this is because I'm not a big fan of part 3, okay? Part 3 is a very mediocre, mind-numbing arc for me. But I think its most iconic arc is probably part 3. I think JoJo knows how to write just interesting fights, abilities. It just has a lot of moments. It has its own style. Araki is literally unmatched when it comes to like his style and fighting. Like just the way he writes I can't even properly explain it to you. Araki is up there. Now see y'all see those who know, that's what I'm talking about. That part 4 love, I feel like it's underappreciated. Part 4 is it for me, dog. That is absolutely it. That's absolutely it, bro. Wow, Donnie, you a hater. What's your favorite part of JoJo, Donnie? Johnny, what's your favorite part of JoJo? What's your favorite part of JoJo, Donnie? I need to know. We need to have a conversation, Donnie. What is your favorite part of JoJo? Because we got, 8 parts? I need to know. What's your favorite part of JoJo? Donnie, that's a wild statement. JoJo part 3 walked so part 4 could smell. That's crazy. Ryan, chill out. Part 3. Part 3. I thought you were better than that. I mean, I'm gonna leave it alone only because part 3 is unfortunately the most iconic and popularized part of JoJo. I don't think it's the best part by any means, but it's absolutely considered the best part. Like, it's crazy to me, and I don't like that it's considered the best part. See, Orion stood on business. Let's go. At least part 3 does not have an unresolved plot points like part 4, bro. That's because part 3 ain't got shit else going on but a fight. It's a fight. That's the whole premise of part 3. Punch a man, and that's it. There ain't nothing else going on. Bro, let me... Don't... Do I need to open up the Discord? Do I need to get in the Discord for this? We will get in the Discord. Cell Saga, OG, Dragon Ball, DBZ, GT, and then Super. Don't make me get in this Discord. Studio, y'all need to stop with this part 3 nonsense. Listen, I'm not even denying that part 3 doesn't have its... I think the second half of part 3 is the strongest part. Should Avatar and Jackie Chan Adventures be on... All right, relax, man. You're just doing too much now. Wait, what unresolved plot points? Proud to say I have nothing of JoJo. Revolver, I need you to play a little bit into the JoJo, okay? Oh my goodness. No. Stands were introduced in part 3. Oh, evolution stands. Okay, my bad. I thought I just read stands. Hold on. We'll get in the Discord. We're gonna get in the Discord. I'm gonna put this under Weeb chat. Oh shit, that was loud. If you're in the Discord, we can have the conversation. Revolver, we're not talking about Pokemon, okay? We're not talking about Pokemon, okay? It's not the conversation. But there's some slander going on. And I don't want to... Oh, Josuke versus Kira is raw. The only thing I don't like about part 4, it low-key undermines Josuke as the main character sometimes. That's like my only thing about part 4 I'm not a big fan of. But my man absolutely earned his like main character status. A mix of downtime and action makes the best JoJo part. Which is why, let me get on the Discord. Hey, listen, I'm in my Discord chat. I'm in the server. If you want to join and have the conversation, we can have the conversation, y'all. Let me see. Well, there was supposed to be more that put in, but it was dropped since I guess he didn't want to do time travel. Well, we don't need to overcomplicate things. Time travel is a dangerous plot device anyway. Listen, me personally, I think that part 2 was the best. Part 2 is good. I like part 2. I'm not going to go down to play part 2. I mix it down. Josuke is the main character, but Kyoichi is the protagonist. I low-key like that. Not gonna lie to you. If we're talking about Pokemon, then are we gonna talk about Kingdom Hearts? Chill out. Part 4 almost made me cry with a character. I hate it. That's how good it is. Send me the Discord. Are you not on the Discord, Lenses? Hold on. I forgot that YouTube doesn't have like the commands I can do. Ban whoever mentioned mid-hero. Who mentioned mid-hero? Oh, Retro? Oh, Retro. Why'd you bring up My Hero, dog? We're not even putting... I like how it hasn't even come up as a conversation. Is My Hero legendary? No. No, it's not. It's not. All right, hold on. Let me get the Discord link. Most of you guys are already in the Discord. That's the kicker. That is the wrong link. Jesus Christ. Where is YouTube? Damn, I lost the live stream tab. The recent season of My Hero was good. I mean, there's a link to the Discord, Lenses. I thought most of you guys are already in the thing. We're not going to bring up mid-hero, okay? We're just not going to do it. we're not gonna have that conversation. It's a very R.I.P. banned. Oh my lord, Retro, chill out. We don't actually ban people like that. You gotta be on some ridiculous stuff for me to ban. For me to ban you in here, I don't really ban like that. Oh yeah, Koichi is based off of Gohan and that his stand on sale. Of course. That if anything, that's just another notch into Toriyama's belt. You inspiring JoJo, Arthur. Araki over here getting inspired by fucking Toriyama. But see that's he absolutely deserved that shit though. He absolutely deserved that shit. So that's perfectly respectable. Shinka?
All right.
What's up, Ryan?
Yo, man. All right, listen. It's probably going to turn into some shit, but we got to keep it a buck.
Okay.
It better because it developed a lot more characters. And yeah, that was it.
You say part 4? Is that what you were saying? Sorry, you got cut off a little bit.
Part 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, no, I agree.
Is objectively better because realistically, part 3 it was basically Jotaro, Joseph, Polnareff, Kakyoin. Well, Kakyoin kind of got hoed at the latter half.
I feel like Kakyoin got hoed in general.
Abdul. Yeah, and then Abdul. Well, we didn't see him till like later because like he had to like.
He was in the beginning. We didn't see him in the middle, and then he showed back up at the end.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we realistically didn't see
Abdul. I'm about to be the most controversial person.
What is it? Go ahead, say your thing. Go ahead, say.
Oh boy.
So first off, we gotta settle this fight real quick. What's this about? Yu Yu Hakusho again? Why do you like this anime? Explain this.
You mean just the series entirely?
This series, because you were talking about some you were rated high, and I'm like, the Dark Tournament wasn't that good, and I watched that twice.
Okay, all right.
Twice I watched that thing.
What?
All right, so here's my thing. Let me explain, because I've explained my history with Yu Yu Hakusho before, but let me properly explain before I get into it.
I watched the series twice, and I still can't get the appeal of it. I'm like, okay, this Toguro fight is drawn way longer than it needed to be.
Oh my god, this is
like, I'm sorry, it was so boring watching that fight. I'm like, oh my god, could you please hurry up, shoot him so we can get done.
It was about the character arc.
It was about the character arc. That's the whole premise behind that whole fight, plus the history between Toguro and Genkai. And Toguro just as a character in general.
Did not even care that they once was in a relationship. I was like, okay.
Wow, this is wild.
I'm sorry.
Listen. So here's my thing. Let me explain something. Because I'm not even like, I wouldn't even consider myself like an insane Yu Yu Hakusho fan. And and as I've said before, my favorite arc in Yu Yu Hakusho was Chapter Black. I think Dark Tournament is good, but I think Chapter Black was a more interesting arc for me personally. But to deny the quality of the arc, I think is my problem. As someone who doesn't. Go ahead.
No, you can go. You go. No, you go. I'm being rude.
I'm just saying, like, to not give Dark Tournament the respect it deserves is my issue. To me, to say it's average is a little disrespectful. I think it's above average. At the very least, Dark Tournament is above average, and for most people, it's like top tier, like absolute top tier.
That's the best tournament arc in anime.
I don't see how. Like, I really don't see how.
I mean, it's easy. It's better than everything else.
No, it's not. It's not. What's
better than Dark Tournament?
I watched that thing twice.
What's better than Dark Tournament?
I'm not going to say the Naruto tournament was good because it wasn't really good.
Well, that tournament didn't even finish, to be honest. I don't think it's better than the Dark Tournament.
No, I don't think it's better.
You see, but you do have to name it.
I'm being honest with you. I enjoyed the tuning exam a lot more than I enjoyed the Dark Tournament.
So the tuning exam wasn't really a tournament, though.
But no, that was mainly because I was more into it. Well, it was until they went off into the whole war shit and
So, but I'm saying, all right, for the sake of this argument, I think you said you put Dark Tournament at C, right? If you had the letter graded, okay. Name me a B tier or an A tier tournament arc for you.
all right, that I like the most. I would say. No, I'm trying to think.
Oh no, that's already.
You can't do it.
I'm trying to say no because that's been so many. Like the Dragon Ball had a couple good ones, but I don't think any of them as like in terms of like that power and shit like that. They don't compare because it was a different time.
Okay, where does
So
it compare to Heaven's Arena?
Ooh,
which one is? Which one is
Hey, what?
Remember from
I said, how does it compare to Heaven's Arena? Because that's technically somewhat of a tournament arc.
I don't.
Hey,
let me
what?
see.
I know why he's. I would. I mean, I feel like you can't say that Dark Tournament is worse than that though. Like that'd be a wild statement for me personally. To say that Heaven's Arena is better than Dark Tournament, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's the reason why I put Dark Tournament above it. 'cause-
Oh yeah, the Heavens are in it. Yeah.
I'm
No,
just saying to me
I don't care for that one.
to call Dark Tournament average means you gotta have at least a couple of tournament arcs you think are like god tier.
You know what? Let me get back. Let me get back to you.
Oh, what? You gonna put this?
No,
How you gonna put it?
What?
How you gonna put this?
Listen, all the reason why because I got to think about all the other tournaments I watch.
Bro, I'm just saying,
animes, and they can't come to me right now.
bro.
Like, they not it's coming to me. They
Listen,
not.
listen. To me, you can't make a bold claim like that and then not be able to name at least one or two tournaments that are better. Okay, that's a whole other issue.
Like the only tournament that I could say would be better, maybe, is Hajime no Ippo. Like the rookie tournament.
no
That
Ippo.
one's really fucking good.
That's ooh.
That's really fucking
My
good.
problem is that because it's a boxing anime, it's almost.
See, that's what I'm saying. He have all these caveats. He got to be like a
No.
shonen anime.
I'm not denying the. Well, first off, I'm not the one putting high quality arcs at fucking C tier. I want that to be stated, okay? I'm not sitting there saying, "Oh, Ippo's tournament was mid." I'm just saying it's hard to compare those two because of the supernatural elements that are in Yu Yu Hakusho. But those are both still great tournaments. Those are still great tournaments.
I wouldn't even say that.
Dark
Like,
Tournament's the best.
even when it's not supernatural, I think the only thing holding Ippo's tournament from being A tier is that we pretty much only saw Ippo's matches. We saw that Mashiba match, but other than that, I don't think we saw anybody else's.
Miyata's match, yeah.
Yeah, like we saw all of Ippo's matches, and then we saw Miata versus Mashiba. But like in Dark Tournament, we saw more than Team Urameshi. Like we saw Kuyokai. We saw we saw a lot more variety.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's it. It's hard to compare. I think objectively, Dark Tournament would still be the better arc.
It's the better arc, but I think Ippo's one is like
No, like I
probably
said,
second.
it's not bad. And to be fair, we're arguing between being average and above average because at the end of the day, you put it at C, which is just average. It's not like now if you had said some wild shit like D or F, we would have had a whole other problem. That's a whole.
I wouldn't put it there.
But I'm just saying, to me,
Yu Yu Hakusho, it was still a decent anime. It wasn't my favorite, but I still,
look,
it relates to my childhood. So I'm kind of like, I still, you know what I mean?
listen, that's fine. I'm not even saying it's not my favorite shonen series, but I'm still not gonna sit there and be like, nah, you ain't getting no flowers for your quality arc. I'm not gonna do that. Like for example, I'm not a huge fan of Part 3 for JoJo, but I recognize that Part 3 of JoJo absolutely deserves its flowers. It changed. It very much is.
It changed the game. Look,
Part 4 to me is better. I'm not going. That's just my opinion. But I'm not going to discredit. I'm not going to discredit Part 3 because of it. That's what I'm saying.
But all I was saying, in Part 4, what did they do to shift the series like Part 3 did? Like
I think it has
they
better
really
characters. Part 4 has way better characters than Part 3.
Yeah, agreed. You're not gonna convince
But does
me,
it? I mean, yeah, but does those characters turn the series on upside down like those stands did in part three and all the other shit that was
bro.
going on?
Well,
Kira. Kira is probably one of the best anime villains there is. Period.
Yeah, because we actually got development from Kira. Dio, well, technically, we had part one,
Dio's a
but
little
we didn't really
unfair
see
because
much of Dio.
Dio was in 3 different parts. Well, no, two. I'm lying, two, because he's only part
Yeah,
one and
just
part
two.
three.
Yeah,
But you got to
but
see
that's what I'm saying.
more
Like,
Dio versus where Kira. It was more. Kira was weirdly more comprehensive, even though you saw Dio's like whole childhood.
Yeah, but I would
Yeah.
argue that Kira is still a better villain
No,
than
I
Dio.
prefer Kira personally. Kira's also more relatable. Dio kind of turns into like this whole like rule the world type shit, whereas Kira's to me is relatable in the sense of I'm just trying to chill, bro. I want to just murder some women and have a daily life. That's what I want to do. It's very ridiculous, but it's also incredibly intriguing because it appeals to that like daily life mentality the entire arc has in its own right.
It's grounded.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
and we actually get to see him like struggle. Like, we barely get to see that with like antagonists at all. Like,
well, hell, in
we
part,
actually get to see like Kira struggle, which is like
because
more interesting to like watch.
Kira's relevant for like the entire, well, technically the second half of the series. I won't say the full.
Yeah, second half.
The second half, but that's way more than you got it from Dio. Dio's only relevant in like the last chunk of of part three.
Part three.
I think I like Josuke more than I like. I think the best version of Jotaro is in part four. To me, Jotaro works better as a mentor than he does as the main character. Particularly because he's kind of just, I don't know, to me he's kind of basic in part three. Oh,
He doesn't really develop as much. Like,
no, he doesn't.
I mean, Well, no. Well, he doesn't really have like much development at all. Like, at the end of like part three, he starts to like mellow out a bit and like show he cares, but we don't really see a lot of that. Which is why when we got the Josuke, it's like, okay, no, we see a lot more with him.
And it's partially because it's weird because I keep forgetting that Jotaro in part three is like what 17 or something.
Yeah, so
Man, that's still like one of the roughest. Like you want me to buy a lot. Josuke to me acts like a traditional teenager. So we get a couple of bullshit arcs of him fucking around, trying to rob Rohan, Loki. Well, hustle Rohan, I should say that. And I like his dynamics with different characters. Like his interactions with Koichi are different than his interactions from Okuyasu. Like I appreciate the stuff with the the family that Kira ends up joining in the latter half of it. Hell, the fact that he was only able to he only lost had nothing to do specifically by Josuke. I'll say that. It was a combination error, which is to me is like my favorite kind of arcs. I like teamwork arcs. Where it's like it's multiple characters doing different things that lead into the defeat of a villain. I mean, that's me though. I recognize that back in the day, for what we needed in shonen anime, part three was it. Part three was absolutely it. Especially considering what it was coming off of. You coming off of part two, that was a good arc in its own right. Like I feel like Joseph sometimes doesn't get his flowers in part two because,
And for real, part two was the best.
Where are the stands?
yes, exactly. When the stands came in, the whole game changed. So I understand why part three is so I know why part three is a pioneer to create an entirely new battle system with all these various stands and having to go through these ridiculous measures to beat certain stand users in fights. I absolutely get why part three gets the flowers it gets and why it deserves it.
And it created its own identity because I think they was trying to compare it to Fist of the North Star, Hakuto no Ken. They was trying to compare the two because Jonathan fights just like Jotaro. So it's kind of like I get why they did it.
Yeah, I'm not like I said. Okay.
My problem with part three is that it's too bloated. Like I don't see myself rewatching part three, but I'll rewatch part four so many times.
Yeah. Part three, you could skip a lot of the fights if you wanted to. It's there's a lot of like just fights because every character needs a fight, but like nothing in the plot really changes. Whereas,
No.
and granted, Part 4 has a couple of fights like that, but most of Part 4's fights do lead into something else or do move the plot forward. Especially that whole, like, what was it? It was a Thursday arc where, like, it's like,
Yeah, the Thursday.
where it's like you got like 4 different skirmishes going on. Yeah, actually, Jazz, I agree. Part 4 has better world building, which is crazy considering all of the fights take place in a town. Whereas Part 3 was like all across like a fucking continent.
Well, part
Yeah.
3 was more about prioritizing like the fighting, the new battle system over the characters.
Yeah, of course. Like, once again, I understand it, but if you're asking me which one I'm going to go back and watch, it's Part 4 all day. All day. All
And
day.
Part 4 has the best episode ever, like which is the cooking episode.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
that episode.
Yes.
But I think also, it's weird because I think sometimes JoJo also doesn't get the praise it gets for being a horror series. Because people look at it, unfortunately, Part 3 kind of devolved into a basic shonen, but JoJo in general was a terrifying series in certain situations. Like, good God. Actually, I think that fucking restaurant episode is a good example of, like, weird horror.
Yeah.
Give me all this body horror, but I'm actually fine. Like, what the fuck? And to be fair, and I think someone said it earlier in the chat, that Koichi is obviously based off of Gohan and his stand is based off of Cell. So to bring it back around to Toriyama, even some of the most prolific authors like Araki were still being inspired by the GOAT, which is why you can never really, I don't know anyone and their grandmother could ever deny Toriyama's legendary status. You can't do it. You can't do it. The struggle to me always is when you start talking about other artists. Because the one thing I think that ends up happening, and we've said this before about famous people in general, some people don't get their flowers until they die, which is kind of wild considering like the amount they've done for like the various cultures they influence. Now, Toriyama's a little bit different. Toriyama's a little bit different because Toriyama's, I won't say magnum opus, but that's kind of what Dragon Ball is. He finished that years ago, decades ago. So to the point now where people are going out of their way to go back and critique it. So I don't want to, I want to say Toriyama, but like we got artists now who are still writing mangas. And I brought this up earlier, and since we got people in the call, like of modern shonen mangakas we have, how many of them are close to legendary status? And if they are, what's stopping them from hitting it? The ones I use, the two I always bring up is Oda and Kishimoto.
Yeah, definitely Oda. Only thing that's stopping him is his manga still going. As soon as he finished, it's right there. It's waiting.
What about Kishimoto though? I'm curious.
I don't know. It's weird to say.
So here's my thing. People always say this shit about Kishimoto because Naruto isn't as good later on than it is when it starts. And I get that. But to deny that man's reach is a little disrespectful.
I wouldn't deny his reach. Like I think he's the rapping with Akira Toriyama. But I think the thing with him is I think the Boruto series, he probably shouldn't have okayed that. I think he should have just let Naruto. Yeah, I think that's probably what's kind of like hindering it a little bit.
But does that take away from the quality of Naruto as a whole?
Look back on Boruto like we look back on GT. That's what my opinion.
Yeah, or hell, even Super.
Like
Look at the quality of Super. It's
that's why I don't want to hold
like,
that against. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to hold that against Naruto because of that. Like,
yeah.
My question is, what stops him from getting that status then? Like, what?
I think he is legendary status because notice, like, of the mangakas that people are talking about with Akira Toriyama's death, people are talking mostly about Oda and Kishimoto's comments. They're not even talking about Kubo's comments if he made any. They're not talking about the new manga. He did
just recently.
Just those two.
He didn't put his comments out as quickly as Oda and Kishimoto. But Kubo's made comments. I haven't seen. I think I just recently heard he had made comments. I haven't read it yet though.
It was like a couple of hours ago.
Yeah,
but
it was
it's
super.
It's not like Gege. It's Oda and Kishimoto. So that's what I'm saying. I think they are legendary status.
But it's not. Obviously, it's not.
Kishimoto fucking up his legacy with his Boruto shit.
Well, yeah, but you can say something about Super and
Super,
GT.
yeah.
Because
I
No,
think the same
because
thing
no,
about the
no, because Kishimoto is like writing this shit. Like Toriyama gave some footnotes, but Kishimoto was like legit been writing Boruto for
Well,
like the last
Kishimoto
year.
didn't write all of Boruto.
No.
He came back onto it because he had that samurai series for a while.
yeah,
Oh
we
yeah,
don't
that
talk
shit
about we
fly.
don't yeah we don't talk about that Samurai series, bro. That was
Yeah.
that was an effort.
That was trash.
I think that that series
Yeah,
has its own.
yeah.
I think that series' problem was that it was trying to do too much in a small period of time. That's a whole other thing. I always bring those two up because I feel like those are the two that people talk about the most when it comes to gaining that kind of status. But the problem is, even when you talk about those two, we both acknowledge. Everyone I think acknowledges they're still not as iconic as Toriyama's stuff. And my question is, are there tiers? Because that was something that kind of got brought up earlier. Do we have tiers?
Otis should be up there because the world building he's doing is being incorporated to all the newer animes that's coming out.
I wouldn't.
So
I don't know if I'd say that.
Oh, I would
I,
say how deeply embedded is that show into the culture? And like, for example, with Naruto, like the whole Naruto running thing, the fact that that's a thing
Oh,
that
absolutely.
people like know, you know? So I can make arguments for both One Piece and Naruto with that. So I think they are legendary status, but time will tell how well they keep that up.
Yeah, people were more concerned about Toriyama in terms of Chrono Trigger, Dragon Quest, and Sandland. Well, that's because Toriyama. The problem though is in that's more of his ability as an artist. Like I think if you broke it down by like different attributes, I think Oda's already there writing wise. Absolutely. I if we were talking about just pure writing, oh man, please. For me, that he already hit that. Kishimoto's a
he
little bit
already.
Kishimoto's a little bit harder because Kishimoto has the capacity for it. He's just not as consistent. That's my issue with Kishimoto. Because to say Kishimoto was never in his bag is a disrespectful thing to say. But Kishimoto definitely wasn't as consistent as I would even argue Toriyama or Oda in terms of writing his series. Like a lot of people argue that, and I've said it too, that part one is kind of the best he got, and then part two has elements that are great, but I wouldn't say it's consistently good.
Recently, though, I found out that some of that isn't even his fault, is the editors.
Well, of
Because he
course.
wanted to do volumes for like each of the villages, but apparently that was scrapped.
Well, yeah, but you could say, I mean, to be fair, people say the same thing about Toriyama, about how Toriyama had all these weird decisions that kind of, like, for example, with Cell, I know he wanted to stop design wise. He had to keep changing Cell's design because the editors were like, nah. Or like, oh, these can't be the main villains. Was this? You're an old man and this fat clown or fat mime.
Yeah,
Change the villains.
yeah, I
Like,
read
Yeah,
that too.
snow wasn't even supposed to be a thing.
so which is why I made the comment earlier that the editors kind of need some sort. I think how even Kubo's openly admitted about how the editors kind of screw Bleached in some ways.
Oh, the last arc.
Yeah, although I heard he was having issues as early as like Waco Mundo stuff. Like just
So what that means,
so
I was
what?
gonna ask, would that mean the Android saga and like the Cell saga is pretty much like the dark period of Dragon Ball?
I wouldn't call it the dark
Like in
period.
turn,
You gotta remember, Toriyama, as much as Toriyama is respected, Toriyama in a lot of ways I think he didn't even want to do. Like I think originally he wanted to end the series of the Frieza. Was it Frieza?
yeah,
He didn't even want to do
Frieza.
Cell.
yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah,
Yeah, like that's why I said the conversation about what makes some of these series iconic. You kind of have to give the editors pros and cons depending on the editor, right? Like, because some of them I think Toriyama, it kind of net benefited him as a whole.
But
Kishimoto,
Toriyama had to fight his editors because, like, one of the things that they didn't want him to do was age up Goku. That was something he had to really push for. And if that didn't happen, like, look at the impact of that. We have time skips now because of that became a popular thing with Dragon Ball.
right? It's the editor conversation is always interesting to me. Actually, I think that honestly could be a video in its own right. Because there are plenty of good things that came out of dealing with the editors, but I think there's a lot of bad things. I think unfortunately the bad things have become more prevalent now in later years than good. I think Kubo's series got screwed because of it. I think Naruto in some ways got screwed because of it. But like, we're not finding this out while they're writing it, so we're still being like, oh, remember? And I know J-Man remembers back in the day. Every time we saw a chapter come out for Naruto and some shit was in it, we would roast the fuck out of Kishimoto in the videos, in the comments, and all that. You dog shit ass writer, why'd you write this like this? Why is Obi told the main villain? Da, 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 da. Like, we used to be on him for this. And at the end of the day, I think at the back of the day, we just didn't realize some of that shit wasn't just him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's working for a company that was like, put this shit out weekly, and some of these changes don't need to happen. Because remember, he's still trying to get weekly high ratings so they don't cancel his shit. That's why I think,
like, even recently I found out that they wanted to make it end at chapter 700. So he had to like kind of rush all of that final battle stuff a lot. Like, which is the reason why they just kind of have a fight randomly, Naruto and Sasuke, and then there's not even like a really good epilogue. You just get that ending chapter with the Boruto phase, but there's not enough of wind down time after the fight itself.
yeah. There were. That's why I say you can honestly make a video around the editors by themselves, because I'd be curious. I think the same thing I think even happened for like some even the more modern writers. I think that's part of the reason why Shonen Jump manga don't last as long anymore, because the fight to maintain your series for fucking 300, 600 chapters, that shit's just not happening anymore. I think everything's ending in like the fucking 200s in most cases.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
hell,
started to see that recently.
the last longer running shows you have is what? My Hero and I guess Black Clover. Those are like My Hero's a little bit over what, 400 now, I believe, chapters.
It's 400 and it's like in the 400 like 20 something.
Yeah, like and that's crazy by modern standards, considering everything else has been ending in like 200, 100 and something. Like, we're just not trying to play that game. And part of it, I think, might be because not only is the work, like, physically demanding, but you're fighting with your editors on almost everything. Oh, you can't have them design like this. Oh, we don't need to put this as an arc. Like, I think in Revolver, you bring up one with Black Clover. Tabata has openly stated back in the day, he wanted Black Clover to go as long as, like, One Piece did. But that is not possible because, one, it was health, and two, your series has to maintain a level of popularity that for decades, it's almost like your series has become legendary to maintain that kind of relevancy. Like it's not feasible, and to be fair, it's probably not healthy. Now, as a result, that means I get series that aren't as deep as I would like them to be. But because I've said this about a lot of shit. I think Demon Slayer ended too soon. I think My Hero will end too soon. I think Black Clover will end too soon. And why? Because fucking there's a lot of stories you can tell that just won't fucking happen because, hey man, your mangaka gotta live. The fuck? Unless you're
I'm sad about Demon Slayer because apparently, from what someone spoiled for me, they have the Hashira training and then there's one more arc and then it ends.
Yeah. Actually, I could have told you that. Yeah, fucking and the training gets interrupted. It's not even like a whole arc. It's like 11 chapters or some shit. Like, you get the training, you go right into like the final fights, and then you go into the last fight with Muzan, and that's it. That's it.
What?
Yeah, it's stupid. Demon Slayer, to be fair, I don't think Demon Slayer's that good, but what really hurt it was it didn't get enough, especially how some of these fights go. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but like, Demon Slayer had to, it's going to feel really rushed once you get to certain fights. I'll just say that. Oh, we don't be talking about Toriko. Toriko to me is Toriko is the prime example of fumbling the bag. That's what that is, okay? Toriko had the backing of Oda and Toriyama and still could not sell well. The joke I've always all right, so I had to look this up because people used to talk a lot of shit. For example, Black Clover back wasn't selling even as much as Toriko was selling. But here's the difference why Black Clover was allowed to continue and Toriko wasn't. Black Clover wasn't promoted by a major mangaka. Black Clover just came out and was doing those numbers. Torgo was backed by some of the two biggest mangaka of the generation. Hell, maybe even of the century in some cases, right? And you were only selling slightly above average.
That's horrible.
And then eventually your shit was falling off as well. It wasn't like he was selling more over time. It was also going down from that. You get that man, what was it, 2 specials, I think, in the anime? 2 like specials with Luffy and Goku?
Yeah,
It was
I seen
2
one of them.
specials, yeah.
And you still can't fucking, like, that, to me, Toriko's fumbling the bag 101. You could...
To be fair,
Go ahead.
I tried to read it. I just couldn't get into it. Like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know. I guess the whole food and shit didn't really appeal to me. You know what I mean? Like,
well, from what I understood, Torgo did the whole food thing, but was also trying to put in some like Dragon Ball / Berserk elements to it, and it just didn't hit the way they wanted it to. Plus, that the anime being censored didn't help either. The anime was like heavily censored, from what I remember. But that's a whole saga I could get. Like I said, I low key now want to make an editor video just on the editors and some of the changes that we got that were either positive or negative for the series that we grew up with. Because like I said, I think in Dragon Ball's case, we got good shit out of them. But man, these other mangaka, I was like, bro. The reason why I think Bleach has gotten its little revival is because the anime's adding in shit that wasn't allowed to be in the manga because of how rushed the arc was. Which is going to ironically make the anime the definitive way to watch the final arc of the series.
Which oh, you're just talking about the final one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Kubo wasn't allowed to put in as much because he was like, bro, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Like Kubo's like, we gotta go. Fucking, we'll figure it out. But see, then, and I think the anime is just getting to the super rush parts. With like the last major. Oh, we don't even talk over Reborn. Jay, of course you bring up Reborn in this house. I already knew this was gonna come up. I mean, but look, it's certain series just got it's kind of funny now that I think about it. Almost every major series, like later shonen after Dragon Ball, uses orange in like their main character's motif in some way or form.
Oh yeah, Toriko's a prime example.
Toriko, Naruto, Ichigo's hair, fucking Luffy's probably the slight, but Luffy takes Goku's personality, so I kind of correlate that.
Well, it's an improved version, I would say.
Oh no, I agree. I absolutely agree on that. But that's also because Goku's personality has been fucked with a lot in recent years anyway. He went from
especially after Cell.
Bruh, they turned that man into Superman. And I was like, bro, what are we doing here? Y'all need to... I think y'all forgot how Goku operates as a character. But that, to me...
That turned him into Jesus.
Huh?
They pretty much turned him into Jesus.
Low key. But that's because they had... That's also because he's always had a... It's weird because he's also had a slightly different take in America in general. It's just that version of him has become like canon. Like even...
Wasn't that because of like the dub?
Yeah.
Because like...
Yep.
Because remember, Funimation did fuck a lot of the script changes, especially in their earlier stuff. Like even like Yu Yu Hakusho has that problem. Dragon Ball has that. Just name a few.
Yeah, absolutely. But even but yeah, fucking going back to what I was saying with the Toriyama influence. I mean, actually, Reborn is another example of that. Orange is somewhere in that motif, or you have traits of the main of Goku. And actually, and you're right, Kuro. Fucking Monkey D. Luffy, considering what Goku's based on.
Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So like I don't think we'll ever. I don't think really there's a conversation of if Toriyama's a legend or not. I think the conversation is, do the other artists who are going for that spot have that same kind of influence, or even have the potential for that influence? Like people have mentioned before, like the creator of Sailor Moon. That's obviously you find a whole fucking genre. The magical girl genre exists because of Sailor Moon. The fuck?
Like you can't without her, there is no magical girl genre. So
exactly, you can say and you can make the same argument for Gundam. Like that's the mech. That's mech anime, and as a whole, Gundam is it. Although I've always questioned, is it Gundam or is it Kamen Rider though?
No, Gundam is its
What
own
do you
like
mean as far
thing.
as Kamen Rider and Gundam?
Well, I always
No,
use-
Gundam's separate from Kamen Rider.
No, I'm always curious what was first. I guess is what I'm asking.
Oh, it was first.
Wouldn't Robotech be the original?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I
That'd
thought
be the
Robotech.
original.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's absolutely
I
right.
think Gundam just expanded on it.
Yeah, Gundam was like its evolution.
And so it became goat in its own right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Kamen Rider started in
Oh.
in the 70s.
Yeah, and Type Saver said 1979. So that makes sense. I always think about, because that was a conversation, like, I think the one I've always brought up that I've always questioned is FMA. FMA to me is a legendary series. But do you
It
give
is.
Arakawa that status is my question.
Yeah, I definitely would. It
Yeah,
shaped the
but
whole
I feel like
generation.
new
Like,
anime fans
I
haven't
work-
like gotten into it yet.
Yeah,
That's
Brotherhood.
why I wasn't sure. That's why I brought it up as a question.
Because I work with people in their early 20s. Like, I'm 36, and I work with people in their early 20s. They always bring up Full Metal Alchemist. So I'm like, yeah, that will probably be during that time where Brotherhood was out, and that's what they were watching. Like, when we was watching, like, Dragon Ball when we were coming up. So, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, the original Full Metal wasn't bad. They just rushed the ending of
Well, because
Yeah.
the series wasn't done when they were adapting it.
Yeah,
So.
but then like Brotherhood, like just took it. That's like one of my rare like 10 out of 10s for me.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
the
I
overall
think
series.
I think for most people who watch FMA, it's either a strong 9 or a 10 out of 10 for most people. The question
I was hoping they were going to.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, I was hoping they were going to do the same thing they did with Full Metal, the Soul Eater. Like, because I know the anime left on some bullshit.
I don't think Soul Eater. I hate to say it this way. I don't think Soul Eater was good enough to get that. I'm be real with you.
It's so underrated
Yeah.
though. I did love Soul Eater.
Ironically enough, I think arguably his Fire Force has gotten better treatment than Soul Eater has.
Soul Eater is underrated. I think.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not saying I'm not saying Soul Eater is bad. What I'm saying is like, and people we have to remind ourselves. Remember, at the end of the day, the anime is meant to be marketing for you to buy the manga. That's the whole point of the anime. Soul Eater did well enough because they got 51 episodes, right? And they had the bullshit ending.
Yeah, they had that. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it for people.
Bunch of bravery.
But yeah,
Bunch of
that
bravery.
bullshit.
I hate the way that's described.
It's literally the bonds of friendship.
Oh no, absolutely. But like, but the point is that that was enough for, I guess, for what they wanted Soul Eater to do. Because at the end of the day, it's TV ratings. Oh, did you do well enough in ratings to justify a new series? But then you got series that are out here getting adaptations at weird time jumps. Like, for example, if I don't know how many people remember, Blue Exorcist's arc is currently airing. And Blue Exorcist is back from fucking, what was that, 2007?
That came out like 2016?
No, it's before that. I know the first Blue
Exorcist, right?
Yeah, its first anime was 2016.
I don't know. Hold on, man. Because I remember when it came out.
I thought it was before that. Oh,
I thought I was still in high school during that time.
that's what I'm saying. I think it's before that. The
2011.
Anime, that's what I thought. 2011.
Yeah, 2011. Yeah.
It's had these.
Okay.
It's on its third season right now. Third.
Finally, yeah. Didn't they take a hell of a long hiatus?
Yeah, the first anime was 2011 until just 2011 because it was 25 episodes.
Till 2017. That's when season
2017 was the
started.
Kyoto saga, which was 7 years ago, and now we're getting the current arc, which is
7 years later.
yeah. Well, why does that series get that versus like something like Soul Eater that just kind of got its one and done, and we just haven't seen it again?
Yeah, what has been reviving Blue Exorcist?
And we know what the kicker is. Almost all of its arcs are canon. Like, there's no like crazy filler. It's just, hey, here we're gonna do an arc. Bye.
Man, that's a.
But like you look at something like Reborn, and it was just like, we're good. We're good.
Tenchi Muyo is my shit. I love Tenchi Muyo.
Tenchi Muyo
I fucking love it. Tenchi Universe, Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi Tokyo. Yeah.
I got the first 3 series
Yeah.
on like DVD. I got the whole box set for the first OVA.
I'm glad you
Bro,
mentioned
that's what-
Tenchi, because Tenchi weirdly has also gone into this weird like it never dies saga. Because didn't it have that Tenchi AI thing from, or Tenchi I think is how it was pronounced.
Oh
Oh,
no,
I
they
actually
were
don't
still
know.
they're still releasing the Ryoki episodes and shit. And it's like out of order, so everything is convoluted right now.
That is a series that I think is just going to be forever. I don't know why.
I gotta check that out. I gotta check that out.
I don't know why it's
The
forever. No, go
last
ahead.
thing I heard from Tenchi was GXP,
No.
and I
Yeah,
saw that, and I was like,
Yeah,
didn't hit.
they got a new GXP series, but they're also still building on the whole like freaking the whole family dynamic of the
But
of Tenchi's family.
but the question is why? Why that specific series?
Well, I don't know, cause Tenchi has kids now, so him
Oh shit! I gotta check it. I gotta check it
Yeah.
out now. Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'm interested.
he finally knocked down Ryoko and Aiko. That's what he did.
Damn. Okay. All right. GG's.
Oh, for real?
I'm like, I just turned into a whole thing.
For real? Bro, I hated Aiko growing up.
All
I
right.
really did.
Anyway, listen, we can't.
Well, hey, he got them kids. I think Miyoshi and I think Kione is still next. But I mean, he has an official wife now, so of course they're gonna have a kid at one point.
Of course.
I guess he just had to go in order of when he met him.
Hey, listen.
Be fair.
He put in work. Revolver, you said the Gray Man? I don't. Who?
Ooh, shoot! I forgot about the Gray Man.
God. The Gray Man, yeah, that was
That's
a good anime, but
It got
I didn't
dark
know.
so quick in that anime.
I think.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm more surprised they didn't get it darker earlier. The way it's set
It
up.
was like the third episode, second to third episode, man. It was. Yeah, it got heavy.
and then I think they ended the anime because she kept getting sick or some shit, and
Yeah, and they had like how many episodes? I think they were over 50.
Yeah, it were. The Gray Man's another series that's kind of. But see, like I said, anime adaptations. We've got to remember at the end of the day, the adaptations we get aren't really meant to stand. Some of them can stand on their own, and some of them can be like additions to the series. But a lot of them are just like, hey, the show's cool. You should go get the manga for it.
that's pretty much what it was.
Because we want you to buy the manga. That's like the whole premise. So a lot of these series get these like mediocre to okay adaptations, and we've only hell for Shonen Jump series. We've only recently been getting the whole like let's properly do an arc, end, do another arc, end, do another arc, end.
Oh,
Which
Kuro
Yeah,
just
it
put
makes
in
sense.
Claymore. Claymore.
I knew
Yeah,
Clay. I
I
knew
was
Clay.
trying to-
I already knew Claymore was gonna get.
I was going to bring that up too.
I already knew Claymore was gonna get up. I already knew
But I
Claymore
think they were
was
still going in the manga though for Claymore.
Oh, you talking about? Oh wow, Matt, you put up Monogatari. Don't talk to me about Monogatari, bro.
Monogatari. Gotcha.
Fucking fuck you. I actually feel bad. I feel bad Studio ain't here because I know he's a Madaka fan and it's the same author. Dog, I already know. I feel like I don't want to get too. I'm afraid to go down this rabbit hole because this could turn into a whole 3-hour thing. That's why I gotta be careful. I just wanna. I wanna ask this question as a round off. We got like maybe like 10, 15 minutes left. If you had to name some modern shows that aren't, we're not gonna call them legendary because they're new, but have legendary potential. So anything after, I'll say after like 2010. What series would you say had
Attack on Titan.
Sword Art Online.
Oh!
Yes, sir.
Whoa!
What? That's insane.
Whoa!
What?
Whoa!
I know it's
What?
like, listen. Look at what that shit spawned though. That shit
Wait,
just
are-
went
I
crazy.
can. Ooh,
Wait, are you going off revenue or are you just talking about the quality of the show?
Oh, no,
Man, that means that's
it's
too
to me, it's your opinion on legendary status. So if
I was going like overall like influence, like how it influenced the culture and shit like that. Like
so here's
You
the
know what I
thing.
mean?
Here's the thing. I don't like the series. I can see his argument though. It's hard. It's hard to objectively look at Sword Art Online and go, that shit doesn't have any fucking reach. It definitely has reach. It
does.
It put its foot in the cold. You can most people know what Sword Art Online is, regardless if you like it or not. So it's
Sure, they got
so it's hard.
so many
Yeah,
games.
but I don't
and
think
everything.
people like it.
I don't think people. I've heard differing opinions. It depends. It depends on what part of Sword Art Online you're talking about. If you're talking about like the original series, yeah, most people don't like it. But I think if you're talking about like the later
people
stuff,
prefer the movie series than the main series, because at least the movies are actually being more faithful to like the light novels.
So I'll put it this way: I would have my opinions, but I could see why you could put Sword Art Online in that conversation. I can see how you can put it in the conversation. I may not necessarily agree with it, but
listen, I'm not like super fan of Sword Art Online. I think it's okay, but it's not like not my favorite. My favorite is One Piece,
it's done enough to at least be in the conversation. And Jay said Attack on Titan. I'm not even gonna relate. There's nothing really to argue with that one. That's
I think because it made anime mainstream. It's like one of the animes that really made anime mainstream.
Oh, like the second boom, if anything.
Basically,
because I always say I say the first boom was DBZ. The second boom I always say is Naruto, and I think the third boom I guess would be around either Attack on Titan or My Hero.
I would say no. I would actually. I mean, I don't even watch Attack on Titan or read the manga, but that came out in 20. Well, the manga came out in 2009. The anime came out in 2013. And
that's around the time.
Yeah, there was that pretty big. That was a pretty big boom. I never even watched it.
Yeah, so I have no issue with that being in the conversation.
I will give you one that came out, I guess, around like 2 years ago. That revived the game. I'll tell you, Cyberpunk, even though it was short, it literally resurrected like interest not only in the game but in the whole genre again. Ooh. So I'll put Cyberpunk Edge Runners in there.
I'm gonna leave that one alone only because it's still kind of early.
It's early, but I can see it.
No, I'm not gonna hold it against you. I'm just saying. I wouldn't put One Punch Man in there, Kuro. Personally, I wouldn't.
I mean, that first season was
no, the first season was great. I'm not. It's not the quality. I just don't think it has the same kind of reach, if that makes sense. Like to put it in the same block as like an AOT or even like Sword Art Online, like that wasn't a boom. One Punch Man. Well, go ahead.
No, I was thinking about something else. You were saying like earlier we talking like one that's just that was like a boom, like it was just shattering. It changed. It changed the game in a sense. That's what we're talking about. Okay.
The only other thing that's recently happened, I probably would say something like, it's gonna be weird to bring these two up.
JJK.
Wait,
JJK. Ooh, JJK is hard.
I can see JJK.
But the second season. My issue is that the arc that people talk about just came out like last year, so we're still in that post hype from that. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw it in. It's like throwing it in the ballot, and you just made a name for yourself. Like the thing that makes you legendary is your staying power. Like Sword Art Online stuff still comes out. Attack on Titan just fucking ended.
Yeah.
Well, anime wise, anyway.
Oh, well, random thing. I just need to know. Did anybody know that Supernatural had an anime?
Yes.
Did not know. I just saw it randomly. I was like, wait a minute.
I know they have an anime. I didn't care.
It's a whole first season. I
knew it had. I'd already heard they had an anime. I didn't care. But yeah, I knew of it.
Okay.
What about Inuyasha?
So here's the thing. Here's the problem. All right, so Inuyasha, because you also gotta include like Rama 1/2 and was it Usure? I think is how you pronounce it. I think it's anime is still airing actually. It's more of a bulk situation with it. I think she herself has earned some sort of status. but I don't know if I call it legendary though. That's my problem. That's my issue. When you have, because Rama is known, Inuyasha is known. Usure is not something I've ever watched, but I know people are very much aware of it. So it's not like the notoriety isn't there, but I would say it's nothing on the same level as like fucking any of the other series we've named.
It's because it was sandwiched along between DBZ and Naruto, so it's kind of hard. Like when you sandwich between them two.
Yeah, well, that and the genre is different. Like it's just not. It felt disrespectful to say what I'm gonna say. That's why I have to watch myself.
Listen, I
don't even like Inuyasha.
Whoa! What? Hold on, sir. What? You gotta give.
I've only seen
I don't know,
episodes and it was kind of boring.
You gotta.
Her storytelling is like the whole girl hates guy, guy hates girl, but then they like each other. She did it in 2 series.
Yeah, she did do it in 2 series. That kind of hurts her. Ironically enough, Inuyasha. I mean, ironically enough, Jay, I feel like you would like Inuyasha if you had watched it when you were younger. Not like insanely younger, but just younger.
During that whole Toonami thing.
Yeah, it's just Inuyasha's a mood, and you would nowadays I would argue you had to skip some of the filler for it to work better. Because
it's basically one of those like you need to watch at a certain age for you to enjoy it. If you're like already like an adult, it's not gonna hit you.
Yeah, it's not gonna hit the same way. That's my issue with that.
I will say one series that I know it won't be legendary because a lot of people forget about it, but it was still underrated to me was Wolf's Rain.
Right?
My problem is that it's one series and
that's unfortunately
its reach.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's underrated because people either forget that it happened or just it's one of those gems that kind of just goes under the radar. That's how I feel.
Also,
that's in my legendary.
Also, Revolver, you being a little disrespectful. Don't put Rosario Vampire over Inuyasha. That's a little disrespectful, sir.
Oh no.
That's kind of crazy.
You know what's more disrespectful?
What?
I might be inclined to agree a little.
No,
What?
That's wild.
Rosario.
And I've read it. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
I've read the manga for Rosario. I don't know if I'd say that. That's kind of wild.
Hey, I thought Rosario. I
don't
a little bit more than Inuyasha.
That's a little bit disrespectful, dog.
A little more. But I'm not saying it's over there. Just me personally.
I think Prince Revolver's right. Cowboy Bebop is legendary.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wait. Did we put Samurai Champloo in that same boat?
Yeah, Samurai Champloo's in that same tier.
Okay, I was just curious.
I can see it. Yeah,
because Samurai Champloo had one of the most legendary soundtracks I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, don't talk to me. That sounds
that's like my favorite producer, Nujabes. Yeah,
that sounds. All right. Trigun. What about Trigun?
I can see it.
it's good, but I wouldn't call
Yeah,
it.
Bulma's VA in there.
I don't know. I think people remember Trigun, but like I want to know, like, are people like that's 20 years old right now going to even know what Trigun was?
Also, Matt, don't play with me with this interspecies reviewers. Don't stop.
Oh hell no!
We're not doing that.
No,
We're not doing that.
Hell no.
We don't even.
Hey, people will remember Redo of Healer though.
Yeah, because it was rape. It's rape. That's why.
No,
My female fan base. So hey,
Daddy.
Don't bring this shit up to me. That was wild.
the only time where
What's up, Landon?
the only time where that anime has an actual like dick slap on it.
Can we just not? Can we not? Also, Digimon. Oh, to be fair, we haven't brought it up, but yeah, I think to me, I always call that like the trio. It's Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh. Even
Digimon was the broke man's Pokemon.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it was.
Don't do that.
It
Listen,
doesn't even have good games.
Oh, okay, that's.
I bet you haven't even played most of them. Stop lying on your ass.
You got under Donnie's skin. All right.
Jesus.
I think fucking Senpai was just fucking happy to see Donnie be getting frazzled for us. Is he showing emotion over there? What the fuck?
No, Senpai just glad I didn't say Peter Darker today yet.
No, let's keep talking about your
Beyblade is more
Digimon and
iconic than
get your
Digimon.
mind right.
Did you say Beyblade is more iconic than Digimon?
Yeah, it is.
Ooh, that's
Actually,
even true.
It has
That's
better
kinda
memes.
true. Ain't it right now?
well,
Better what?
Oh,
Better memes.
Beyblade's better.
That's-
More iconic than Digimon.
You got laughed at if you had Digimon cards to the table.
well because people don't buy Digimon cards.
that's true.
Exactly.
You either
That's true.
Digimon has a all right. Look, Digimon has a better anime. I don't know if I say games is a weird thing for me because I haven't played enough Digimon games to make that argument, but it has a better anime. I'll
Wait, you
give
think
it that.
Digimon? Wait,
I'm
hold
gonna
on.
be
You think
honest,
Digimon
I
is a better anime than Pokemon?
No, then well, no, we're just comparing like between like Digimon and like Beyblade.
We're not gonna have this.
Oh.
I'm not doing this with Beyblade.
No,
Okay?
Beyblade has a good series. The one with Max. Not Max. The one with the
Yeah,
other
the
dude.
first series was good, but that other stuff, I don't know what they were
Oh,
doing.
I've unfortunately I've only watched the Metal
And then
series,
they
like Jinga.
didn't they like
yeah.
de-age them in one of the series where Tyson looked younger than he should have been? Like
Listen,
this shit was weird.
Beyblade and Pokemon and even Digimon has the same problem. The
Well-
dubs suck.
well, I mean that's.
Oh, to be fair, I would argue that I would honestly say Yu-Gi-Oh is worse because all their fucking music's replaced with the censors.
I mean, so was Pokemon's. Well, not all of it, but a
Yeah.
lot of it.
No. At least it kept some of its music. Yu-Gi-Oh has shit.
Why did they do that, by the way?
To sell
Bro,
it to other countries.
Oh my
They want to
god!
make
remember,
royalties off
it's-
their own music.
Remember, it's for kids and fucking they don't give a shit about music.
They should though, because when they get older, they're gonna hate that they missed out on an amazing soundtrack that they didn't get to hear.
Even now, they're still doing that shit, even though they're not called for kids anymore. But they're still doing that. Like, look at Sevens. Fucking music's
I
replaced.
hate 4Kids
Censors.
too, but
4Kids.
No, I love 4Kids. They had the best rap ever.
Okay,
listen,
listen.
only thing they did good.
4Kids.
Only thing they did good was Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles they did good.
Oh no,
Okay,
Ninja.
you
No,
know
no,
what?
yeah. People
Yeah.
people always
They
talk about.
fucked
yeah.
that up.
No. I agree. The 2003 Turtles is my favorite of the shows.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's no disrespect. Rise is out here animated like a fucking anime, but that's a whole other issue. 4Kids. The one thing 4Kids always had was good music, for the most part. Like,
No. Hold on. No, they
that
have good
depends on the
voice
show. That
acting
depends on the
and
show.
good like I guess you could say fan/dub openings. But in terms of like dubbing quality, like being faithful.
Oh no, yeah,
they
they're
suck
pretty,
ass.
yeah,
They
they're pretty big.
objectively. I mean, look at One Piece. Do I even have to say?
No,
anymore?
wait, no, don't do this.
Yeah.
I've been
But no,
dealing with that since
Wait.
2004. I don't want to do this again.
Gotta take that out.
Okay.
Listen, that magic. I ain't gonna lie, y'all gonna hate me for this, but that Magic Dory Me song was great. I fucking love that damn song. So
I don't
I
really
don't
have.
think anyone
Yes.
cares.
Yeah, but I don't really have words for that. It doesn't really the say on that one.
Yeah.
Top said, "Don't play with me. Don't put Boruto in this conversation. How dare you?"
Boruto's shit, man. Like,
Wait,
if you
what?
think Boruto is good, I don't know what's wrong with you, man.
Boruto is a series that I think
Did they have the Did they have the time skip that they were like bragging about?
in the manga, yeah,
Yeah, they're on.
it's not the manga. To be fair, the arc we're in now isn't bad. I just wish they didn't skip like 2 or 3 years into the future. The arc premise.
Wait, you read that?
Wait,
Well,
you
it's on the Shonen Jump
Oh,
app.
wow.
I use it, so I kind of glance through it. The premise of the arc is simple. Fucking they added that girl Ida who has the ability to like change perceptions and shit, and also has like a weird Boa Hancock ability that makes everyone like fall in love with her. And so she changed the perception to make Kawaki be viewed as Naruto's son and Boruto as like the outsider. And then Kawaki like trapped Naruto and Hinata in like some sort of void. And essentially with that whole perception switch, they essentially blame Boruto for the death of Hokage, even though 1, he's not dead, and 2, Kawaki's not Naruto's son. And then that was like, okay, so now you have to deal with this. Like that was the premise of the arc, with some bullshit with Sarada unlocking her, what was it, her Mangekyo, I believe, to like force Sasuke to help Boruto, even though his mindset was shifted. And then they jump 3 years into the future, and they're like Boruto, not adults, but like older teenagers.
Well, that's adult in Japan.
Well, here's my thing.
But
Here's my thing. The premise of Boruto trying to like fight with his like village to save it is a cool premise. But you jump 3 years into the future where like nothing had been accomplished, which means Kawaki's plan was allowed to be around for 3 years, and like nothing happened. You were just at a standstill. It's just that Boruto's stronger, and the village still thinks Kawaki is the Hokage's son. Oh, and Shikamaru's like Hokage currently.
But even
Boruto is for Naruto fans that got into Naruto really late into the game and don't understand what the series is about, because it shits on everything that the series is about, and I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
I love the energy. I love the energy. I'm not even gonna be mad at you. I love the energy.
I mean,
I'm with it.
Like,
I'm with it.
How is Kawaki able to do the hand sign thing that Sasuke does in the final battle when this guy's barely a shinobi? Like, why is it that they master moves that took characters ages to master? Like, it's just such a shit series.
Yeah, even before like the time skip. Yeah, even like before the time skip. You remember, the whole Sarada thing, and remember her awakening with the Mangekyo. She was afraid that Boruto was about to die, that she unlocked the Mangekyo just because
we
she
don't.
was afraid
I'm not
to be killed by like her dad or something.
I'm not a huge fan of that. I get what they were trying to do, and for some reason, also she and what's the other girl's name? Sumire are the only two that for some reason that didn't fall under the perception change that everyone else did. I don't. The argument for Sarada, I would assume, is the Sharingan, but by that logic, then Sasuke shouldn't have fell for it either. So I don't really understand the thought process realistically.
I don't understand the thought process of like, okay, why couldn't she snap her like what's the word, stop being like under like the whole like perception thing from like Ida, and like, you know, he would like remember like, Boruto was actually Naruto's son, instead of like, have Sarada like use her Mangekyo on her dad, so he would protect Boruto instead. Like, I don't get that at all.
I also don't understand that Ida is aware that she did what she did and like apologized to Boruto about it right before the time skip happens, and you're just like, Ida, just turn it off. The fuck is wrong with you? Like, this literally does not benefit you, bitch. Like, I don't understand what you thought. I don't understand. The argument is that supposedly she loves him. That's the whole premise behind it. And I'm also like, but he's openly acknowledged that he doesn't. What the fuck? All right, chill out. I'm dying. But he's acknowledged that he doesn't like that he doesn't like her. So I don't know. I thought the premise behind it was cool. It just, the execution was bad. That's my biggest issue.
Why is it then when Kurama dies, Naruto's like, "Oh, but you killed my parents." Like, what the fuck?
Listen. We have to acknowledge that Naruto ain't the same no more. That's what it comes down to.
He's grown up.
He's grown up. He's a different man. So we have to move on from that. That's
but me personally, I wouldn't let that slide.
I know, but like it just seems so out of character at the time, you know?
Because it was. We're not. I'm not disagreeing with that you're wrong. You're not wrong, but you know, different generation.
I guess after you died about 5 times and he brought you back, I guess you could kind of let it slide. I guess, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. It's just. I don't want to turn this into a Boruto thing, because it'll just turn into a fuck Boruto thing for like an hour and a half. And unfortunately, it's already been 2 hours, so we're gonna move on from this. I'm just gonna simply say, thank you for everything you've given us, Mr. Toriyama. Your work is appreciated and will probably never be forgotten. So your name will always be in the minds and hearts of generations to come. Because I promise you, if they don't already know, somebody's gonna tell them about it. Also, I think that my favorite joke I've seen online around this is they show the different people reacting to his death, and then they just show Mexicans, and it's just like the whole country's like, here's my Goku statue right fucking here. Like, I'm just like, I don't know what it is, but Dragon Ball was different for Mexicans. You know what? I'm not even mad at you. Just, y'all, they took that shit hard.
Yeah, in the anime channel, I put in the reaction to when they saw Goku versus Jiren.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, the final 2 episodes. Yeah, they got together and live streamed it.
He brought together all of Twitter to roast people who were disrespectful.
Because you know why?
That's
Because we're in that era where when a person dies, one or two things are going to happen. You either give them their flowers and you talk how much they meant about you, or you try to expose some shit from their past and turn them into like a fucking villain.
Yeah.
And Dragon Ball is one of the few things. Don't you motherfucking dare.
Basically,
you can get away with celebrities all fucking day. You fucking do it to Dragon Ball. You do it to Dragon Ball. You in your ass.
It was a collective spirit bomb of roasting happening on Twitter.
They said, "Well, you really out here mourning the death of someone who designed Mr. Popo?" And I was just like, "Bro, don't."
Are you kidding me?
Don't do this.
Don't look it up because you're just gonna get.
Oh, don't worry. They're dead. They're done. They're done. You can't. Motherfuckers
they
are
fried
wild.
some dude so bad. Oh my lord! I think he said something, and like 2 minutes later, whole account went private and just went offline. Oh my god,
Yeah, bro.
Don't shit on someone that just died. Come on.
Yeah, it's stupid. They always do this shit.
Listen. The only thing I was happy about is to see that the fandom wasn't putting up with none of that shit. That was like the most heartwarming thing. Nobody in that grandma. I think the funniest joke I saw was that they said the Mexican cartel has agreed to a ceasefire to mourn Akira Toriyama's death, and I was like, that's how we stop gang violence. Is you like a man has to die. Man,
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Not even part of their country.
Because if it actually happens, you'll just be like, "Really? Is this it?" God.
Yeah, but I feel like every child over there is ingrained in Dragon Ball. It's like you wake up, that's the first thing you watch is a Dragon Ball something. I need you to watch some sort of Dragon Ball content. You ain't leaving this house until you know how to do the Kamehameha perfectly. Or you've eaten senzu beans for breakfast. Something's got to fucking happen. I don't know. It's kind of crazy because it's funny because each culture, that shit hit differently. Like I remember because black people very much also like that. That's one of the only animes we co-signed back in the day. Which is
it's in so much hip hop.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked though because people got made fun of for fucking with anime, but Dragon Ball was like we'll give you a pass series. That was I'm gonna give you a pass. You allow? All right, that's fine.
Anime you was allowed to watch that Dragon Ball.
But if you bring up that Naruto shit, you getting your ass whooped. You Naruto running my path, you getting dog walked.
Now, if you're trying to be a Super Saiyan, we can talk.
Hey man, listen. Everyone has done the pose. I don't know why people out here trying to act like they better than somebody else because you did the pose in your house. You just want to admit to it.
Everybody powered up before. Everybody powered up before.
Yeah, we still work out with the Goku gi on, man. What you talking about? It's still going on.
Half of people's favorite color is orange. I don't know why we sit here playing games like this, bro. I don't. People trying not to look weird. Bro, it's Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is like the only Universal series that no one gives a fuck. It's like, all right, it's DBZ. It's DBZ. I can't be mad at you for DBZ. Of course not. It's DB fucking Z. I don't know, bro. People. So and obviously for everybody else, it's it. That is it.
Yeah.
That is absolutely
I'm looking forward to Dragon Ball Daima. I hope it's good.
I don't know if I'm looking.
We slide for Toriyama.
I'm not gonna say I look forward to Dragon Ball Daima. I'll keep my eyes on Dragon Ball Daima. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say.
He said he's not watching. I'm
not gonna change my whole opinion. I wasn't excited for Daima when I heard about it. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and change my
Why?
narrative. I'm not going to change my narrative just because the man is dead. I'm still not overly. You know what I'm more excited? I'm waiting for my new Dragon Quest game. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for Dragon Quest. Let me get that Dragon Quest 12 trailer. That's what I want. Okay.
You're making it like Dragon Ball. It could be good.
Oh, no. It could be. It could be. That's why I said I'm gonna keep my eyes on it.
He said it could be, but I'm not watching it.
I
I'll
said
wait for the Spark Notes.
I'll wait for Sparking Zero. The fuck.
I'll see what the hubbub's about.
When's that new Tikaichi game coming out? Fuck.
No release date. Put it on your wish list.
Put it on my wish list, dog. I hate that. By the way, side note, we're gonna get out here, but I'm gonna say this real quick. I hate that we now every time we fucking like put out these new game trailers, put it on your wish list today, bitch. What? We just put out when you give me a release date is when I get excited. That's literally it. That's all you got to do. Don't fucking put it on your wish list today. And do what? Let it sit there. You want me to put it?
You want it,
bitch. So I gotta put it. So when the game is announced, the best I get is a fucking store page for it. That's it. It's like creating dog. You know, we just created an Amazon listing for the new Dragon Ball game. No shit, that's crazy, dog. Let me go put that shit in my wish list real quick. Oh my god, it's terrible. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I'm fucking. I gotta go. All right. So, side note for those who know, tonight on Twitch I will be streaming Persona 3 Reloaded. So that'll be in about it's like 6:47 for me. So about 3 hours or so. That's on twitch.tv/The Insane Game Freak, and then no stream on Sunday. But yeah. Appreciate the squad and the people in the chat. Thank you guys for the support. And the squad, obviously, in the Discord. Join the fucking Discord. I left the link for the Discord in the chat. That's how some of you got in the day. So, we do stuff in here sometimes. And other times, fucking Donnie hits me with 16 sound effects like he's better than me. Motherfucker.
Shut up, Donnie.
Also, you can check Donnie when he calls Miles Morales Peter Darker. That's a whole other problem, but... That's
yeah, Peter Darker.
All right, I need you. All right, we gotta go. We gotta go.
Talking about Digimon.
We gotta
kind of saying.
All right, we gotta go. Listen, we gotta go. Anyways, for those in the chat, all right. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. For those who could
never talk about Spider-Man.
Listen. For those of you who will be in the Twitch stream, I'll see you in 3 hours. For everyone else, I'll see you in the next video or the next stream. It's a game.
Did he just say Peter Dark?
Let's the gameplay to win. Let's the gameplay to win. I'll catch you guys later. And J-Man wrote it in the chat. Jay wrote it in the chat. Like he didn't know what he said. He's like, Peter Darker.
Yo.
I'm in tears. Oh.